want to introduce someone that's become a part of our family at Game Dash Studios, in the form of a sponsor, but also becoming a good friend. His name is Duncan. I think it's important to showcase people from our culture that are doing it their way without compromise, independence, and, also enjoying their life. And I think the reason why that needs to be showcased so people know what can happen. It's a reality. You just have to sort of believe in yourself. So I wanted to introduce Duncan. And the funny shit is I tried to interview him last time, but I had Benny here and we were partying too hard and he's very tolerant of it. I appreciate that. So we're going to give it a go again.
It almost fell over last time.
I was like, yeah.
It was almost on the floor.
We were booming. You know what I mean? So it was like, So anyway, so we're here. So Tommy, please introduce yourself. Tell them where you're from, what you do, the whole nine.
Yeah.
I know you have it. So here you go.
Tommy Duncan from Detroit. Born and raised with the family, Tallahassee. And I'm in healthcare. So I've been a healthcare entrepreneur since 2006. I started my first company, sold in 2007. To a company that eventually went public in 2010. So I made some money. Then I started another company. Operated that in DC and Detroit for about 6.5 years. Then sold that company to Blue Cross Blue Shield last year. And then started a third company in healthcare called JetDoc, which is a telehealth platform.
So you sold how many companies already?
I've sold 3 healthcare companies.
All right. So, a lot of people don't sell one company their whole life.
Yeah.
When did you sell your first company? How old were you?
I was 27.
Damn. And it was like, based on the multiple EBITDA?
Yeah, and the whole thing.
You were doing that in your 20s?
For sure. Man, let me tell you, bro. When I was 22, I had 3 restaurants. And I had one by Florida State's campus in Tallahassee. I had the other one in the mall. And my third was actually the airport. So I had an airport concession when I was 22 years old.
And by the way, you have this new venture, I'm seeing on social media. Rick Ross is a part of it.
Yeah, it's called JetDoc.
JetDoc, yeah.
Yep, largest black-owned telehealth company in the country. We are providing access to doctors and healthcare, discount prescriptions, all on your phone for free of charge.
So basically, if someone has this app and they feel sick anywhere in the world or anywhere in these markets that they're at, they can just from their phone call a doctor, have a consultation, get a prescription.
Yeah.
All of that, go to a local spot. And also, it'll be cheaper, I think you're telling me, than if you have insurance. Right?
Yeah, so it's basically having a doctor at your fingertips. You see a doctor within 2 to 3 minutes. You get the prescription discount free of charge. Even the telehealth services, we're providing free of charge as well. So, yeah, instant access to doctors, 24/7, with the prescription discount, all free of charge.
So, at 27, right, you're 20, how did you understand the principles of business, the EBITDA, the multiples, how did that happen for you?
So my parents were in business in the 90s, and they were in healthcare. So I grew up in a household where we owned companies.
So it was regular?
Yeah, it was regular.
Right.
So, like at the breakfast table or dinner, we talk business.
Right.
And this is back in the day when you could sign people up for Medicaid. We would go into the projects in Detroit and sign folks up for Medicaid. That's health insurance for folks with low income. Right. So I did that when I was 11, 12 years old.
You're doing that at 11, 12 years old?
Yeah, 11, 12 years old. So I've always been a owner business. Always. And so I came, actually when I was still in college, I went to Amsterdam and was in the coffee houses, drinking a lot of coffee, coming out hungry. And,
you must have been smoking weed.
No, I was drinking coffee in the coffee house.
That's why I used to smoke weed at Amsterdam.
It was a different coffee spot.
Amsterdam?
Hey, come on, man. Hey, you ask all these direct questions, man. You got your trouble before.
Oh, my bad.
No, but we were talking, so they had these fries in the cone with different toppings. And I thought it was some cool stuff. Mayonnaise, onions, curry, the whole piece. Yeah. So I came to the U.S. to do it myself.
Munchies, basically munchies.
Yeah, drink a lot of coffee, you tend to get hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah. You do that. So did all of that, came back, started a business. Long story short, was in the restaurant business for a minute, had a hard time, ended up closing all down. So it all failed.
But you're 22.
I was 22.
So that's a W to walk in your own restaurant at 22.
It didn't feel like. Matter of fact, though, we opened a high-end restaurant in Detroit. I was 26 when we opened it. And we opened it during Super Bowl weekend in Detroit, 2006. Yeah. And that was banging for a minute. And then they're going out of business. Right. So at the same time, I was doing healthcare.
Well, let's talk about that. So as an entrepreneur, people have to understand that you will start something and be inspired, have a good idea. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Right. But it doesn't mean you don't try something else. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And some people, when the door closes, they're like, I'm not trying anymore. Even though, like, for me, it's like, I'm expecting the door to close so I can kick it down. Right. But a lot of people, they'll be like, I ain't coming back at it. So, you know, when a company doesn't do well, where you get that courage to go and do another company? How do you feel? What makes you do all that? The rebound.
No, man.
Get back.
Yeah, it's real. But all I always do is that, for me, it's like my life is on the line. So I had to perform, I had to make money. You know, my family had money when I was in high school and college. When I came out, they lost everything. And so I was on my own. So I had to figure it out.
So they were entrepreneurs. And that's what happens sometimes with an entrepreneur. You can be up.
Yeah.
And you can be down.
Right.
And you can be up. And you can be down.
I'm trying to stay up.
But you want to stay up.
Yeah, you're trying to stay up.
But the thing is, you know, it's like, it's an addiction. If you can make enough money, you just put it up. But you'll live a certain way. But you just know there's so many more things you can do that you're inspired by. Plus, somebody want to buy some more shit. And you also know once you got that bread to burn, right? You go, oh my God, so you got to make something click. Right. But, you know, a lot of people don't look at life like that. Yeah. They don't eat the food they kill. They want to be given. Right. And they're like scared to get out in that jungle. They want to murder.
Ain't no question. But let me tell you, man. To the victor go the spoilers.
Absolutely.
Right? You put the work in, you create something of value, you sell it. And then you make it rain a lot.
A whole lot.
Right? It rains so much, it's kind of hard to spend. I'm not saying it's impossible. Right. But it's significant. My whole thing is, you put me in the jungle, I'm coming back with food.
Enough to your family.
Everybody.
Enough to be full.
Yeah.
And have enough to give everyone else to be full.
No, enough to feel gluttonous. Like you're eating too much. Right. My last company, man, I made 10 people millionaires. So these are folks who are like us, black people, who never had the opportunity to own equity in the company, that I gave to them, gave them positions, and also they did the work, right? I led, they did the work. And when we exited, everyone made between $1 and $2 million. Right?
I always do that with any company. Is my core staff, put a certain percentage that they'll split once we sell the company. Yeah. So yeah, always. And it also gives them incentivize them to work, you know, and look at it as it's their company as opposed to pursuing. That's right. And it's the right thing to do. It is. But you always have to break the staff forward for your crew to help you get where you gotta go. That's right. It's not fair. Corporate business, it's not the same rules and principles. You know, I'm a guy that had to survive in the street just based on the rules of the street. And going into corporate, those rules get broken daily. To the extent that I needed therapy about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I had to internalize disrespect from people that I thought were weaker than me. And I used to make an example of people that so no one else does it. Right. But, you know, it's a different game.
It's much.
So how do you deal with that?
And it's even more vicious.
Way more vicious. Because there's shit you can do about it. That's right. There's no recourse. It's like court. And you have to have a deep pocket to go to court. That's right. You know, it costs a fight. 3 to 5.
My last company.
Years.
Yeah. My last company, I ended up having private equity involved. So I own 40%. My employees own the other 9. And then I had private equity own 51. So though they were my partners, every day, because I was creating value, they tried to steal it. They tried to take what was mine because it was valuable. Right? If a company's doing well or it's doing poorly, you're going to have the same problem. People trying to take control of it. So I was fighting my partners every day. So I was fighting to build the business. I'm trying to lead my team. I'm trying to make EBITDA so I can create value. At the same time, I'm trying to protect what was mine. So, you know, it's hard.
That's the game.
That's the game, though.
That's why I went as a heel for about 15 years.
Let me say this, though.
You know, fight because you got good taste and they don't. And you want to protect good people and they don't. And they think they're winning and they're not. It's aggravating.
Yeah. So here's my thing. My thing is, you know, the average black person The average black man is actually shorter than the average man in the United States. Yeah. It's surprising, right? Because we dominate sports. We dominate entertainment.
You mean it's all those white tall people that don't know how to play ball?
They can't do nothing.
That's crazy.
Because they ain't got to compete. They ain't got to innovate. They ain't got the grit. And that's why what it really takes to be a successful entrepreneur is to have the grit to go through the hard times. You know, you may have an idea, you think it's a good idea, but it doesn't work out the way you expected it to. I've been having to pivot. Right? I just sold a company for over 100 million. Over 120 million. Right? A week later, I started Jet Guy. Because I can't be on the sidelines. Right? I got to be in the game and dominate. Well, I'm doing it, but I'm going through hardships again. Because it's another startup. It's my third one, but it's still hard.
Every time you start a company, it's going to hurt.
It hurts.
For a little while.
It hurts real bad.
Trust me.
Now, when I was younger, and my life was on the line, meaning I had no backup plan, I had to be successful. It's a different energy than when you really ain't got to do it. And so now I don't have to do it. Right. But I choose to do it. But back to what I was saying about, we dominate sports and entertainment. And that's the reason is because when you're successful in sports and talented, or in entertainment, the money will find you. But in business, the barrier to enter is so high.
It's the difference between being the person that pays people or the person that gets paid. An athlete gets paid, endorsements and all that, but they're not actually starting a company from scratch. It's like getting a block clicking. Like they're not giving away those samples. They're not losing. Most companies have to lose money for 5 years before they can even be sustainable.
I can do it.
I mean,
I can do it.
I said, no.
Yeah, because when it's a black business, that'll make it profit day one.
Got you. Or at least you got to get enough to flip. That's the difference between a fund and, having a bunch of money that you have the tolerance to lose a certain amount for 5, 6 years, or you just got to flip it. You're like, nah, I got to get that back. There's no lost leaders. A fund is just like coming to a dice game and having a lot of money and everyone doesn't have so much, but you still want all their money. And you could just keep rolling head cracks or actually stopping the bank until you win. Stop the bank. I can take that. Stop the bank. Stop the bank. All you gotta do is win one time.
It hurts.
For a little while.
It hurts real bad.
Trust me.
Now, when I was younger, and my life was on the line, meaning I had no backup plan, I had to be successful. It's a different energy than when you really ain't got to do it. And so now I don't have to do it. Right. But I choose to do it. But back to what I was saying about, we dominate sports and entertainment. And that's the reason is because when you're successful in sports and talented, or in entertainment, the money will find you. But in business, the barrier to enter is so high.
It's the difference between being the person that pays people or the person that gets paid. An athlete gets paid, endorsements and all that, but they're not actually starting a company from scratch. It's like getting a block clicking. Like they're not giving away those samples. They're not losing. Most companies have to lose money for 5 years before they can even be sustainable.
I can do it.
I mean,
I can do it.
I said, no.
Yeah, because when it's a black business, that'll make it profit day one.
Got you. Or at least you got to get enough to flip. That's the difference between a fund and, having a bunch of money that you have the tolerance to lose a certain amount for 5, 6 years, or you just got to flip it. You're like, nah, I got to get that back. There's no lost leaders. A fund is just like coming to a dice game and having a lot of money and everyone doesn't have so much, but you still want all their money. And you could just keep rolling head cracks or actually stopping the bank until you win. Stop the bank. I can take that. Stop the bank. Stop the bank. All you got to do is win one time and you get everything. Right. So that's what a fund does. They just invest. But as an independent, you don't have that. You have to flip, you got to figure it out. And there is no room for losing. You have to always make it. And you have to pay your staff whether you make $1 or not.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And gotta make payroll.
Gotta make payroll.
I learned that in my 20s.
And it's crazy because payroll is another system and it's cool whether you have it or not. It could really jam you up.
Yeah.
I hate payroll when they make you do that.
I was 27. So I have a healthcare company that I just sold. So that was popular. I had this restaurant. The restaurant started going out of business. So my cousin, who you met, was running the restaurant. When things got tight, he decided to, use the sales tax money to cover payroll. and not paying payroll tax. They had enough capital to cover the payroll. Right? But then IRS came in and had a $250,000 obligation on me because of that one issue, because you got to make payroll. No matter what employee that you have, if they making $20 an hour, $10 an hour, or $200,000, that person is spending on that money for their livelihood. So you got to make it.
Got to make it, especially whether you're in front of them or not, but you feel they're paying.
Yeah.
And they did something for you. You got to deliver.
But you got to make payroll. That's number one. But you know, I just think whoever's listening who is an entrepreneur, no matter where you are on the stage of it, the most important thing is you got to have stick-to-itiveness. You got to stick with it.
Gotcha.
And you got to fight it out because it's going to burn.
And you got to love it.
You got to love it.
You got to love the game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like boxing or football. You're going to get tackled, you're going to get hit. But you got to hit that.
That's right.
So
the restaurant business, right? Like I said, $3 is a massive failure because it was just all went bad. What I learned is, because I was coming out of the coffee houses, a little hungry, I like the French fries, right? So my whole thing was doing these fancy French fries. I like the end product, but I don't like the process of owning the restaurant. Right? I don't like the prep work. I don't like the service. I hated the business. Mm-hmm. I like the end product, so it didn't work for me. In healthcare, I like the process. Right? So the outcome was successful. Mm-hmm. So I like doing what I was doing.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, you know, for me, I won't do anything or get paid to do anything that I would do for free. Yeah. Because that way it never feels like work. And I only work on my dream until that becomes my job. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what keeps me happy because I have so much confidence in my future. Yeah. I'm visualizing what my future looks like. I already know what I'm buying and also know what I'm investing.
Right.
You know, every second there's something that's just more fun to do. And, you know, I like to generally be like a industry conqueror. I like to disrupt it. Mm-hmm. Because the way industry is presented to us now doesn't behoove us. Right. So it has to be changed. You know, because it was established by people that were racist, that had slaves. Mm-hmm. You know, the system has to be changed, and in order to change, you got to be disrupted.
Look, man, you start with free labor.
Slavery?
Yeah. You start with free labor. Right. What if you had free labor?
If we had it?
Yeah.
It would be a lot of guilt.
I'm talking business. I'm talking about the payrolls. I think most of
everybody work for free. It would be like, you know, sky would be the limit. You would never stop working.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's the how far ahead.
We built their foundation.
Right.
And while we were building it, they were figuring out how to keep us building. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have to be aware of. You know, to me, again, every pattern is wrong because it was implemented. It's been so long since they've been a new pattern that the people that started it only started to control us.
Right.
So everything has to change. And, you know, what I like about what you're doing is, you know, especially like with the medical thing, that's a big deal, healthcare.
Yeah.
In our community, because again, we help another culture build their foundation. They take us into a lot of bullshit. And we always have to worry about things that most people don't. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're telling me you're going to give this away to everybody. And, you know, you're basically giving healthcare to people. And I know as a black man, I don't like going to hospitals.
I don't like going in.
I always know they're going, because I don't trust hospitals. I feel like they're just going to tell me something so I can spend some money. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't trust them. But, so you got to go. Yeah. If I can go in my pocket and, you know, get the prescription,
right,
and things will get handled. And, you know, giving people access to that, I like the fact that it's coming from us and that we're helping us and that, you know, the more we win, the more we want to do things that other people that need our help that may not be as strong or as aware or didn't have the other advantages, get them out to 99% so they can get up with this one. And then we want to have a reversal of narrative.
And I'm on the same page. So, you know, to me, that's where I like to spend my time. You know, I mentioned the barrier to enter for entrepreneurs is so high. A large part of what's missing is real mentorship for folks that have done it and know how to do it.
And credit.
But knowing how to do it.
Yeah,
right? And so that's what I want to do is help people just kind of steps, you know, the ropes to skip, the ropes to know.
Absolutely. And the lingo.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people start businesses and have no exit strategy.
All the time.
They don't even know what they're gonna make their money or how. They just heard it makes them rich.
Yeah.
Musicians don't know. Fashion designers don't know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that have a lot of money that I know don't understand either.
Hey, you need it. I mean, look, here's the thing.
It's a different kind of game. Some people get royalty checks, but some people get royalty checks. Getting a business to start and to get it cranking and get it clicking and to make it sustainable and make it profitable, that's for a lion.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta really be built for that.
You gotta be built for it, and you gotta know how to do it.
And you have to know that it's gonna hurt.
You gotta know it's gonna hurt and know how to get through it though.
If I had someone that could tell me all the things I had to learn, I would get where I had to go so much faster.
Yeah.
So you're right. And that's the reason why I'm very transparent about all my businesses, how I do it. Even when I'm showing, I'm like, yo, let me show you how to do it. So
right.
you decide without me, you don't burn.
Right.
You know, it sucks because with business, you burn while you learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Period. There's no other way really to do it. And if somebody is like, you know, like I've always looked for people to give me advice. And they just don't because they always look at you as competition.
We gotta get out of that though.
It's culturally, it's like we think they're the plug and we have to protect them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We stick together, we become the plug. But, you know, it's all over. You know, if a system's working for people, they're not going to help you change it, they win. At least they feel like they win.
Right.
So that's why we have to, as entrepreneurs that are winning, showcase what that looks like, how to get there.
Yeah. And
people have to know that it's possible.
It's all possible. No matter where you start, it's all possible. The other thing though is if you get knocked down, you gotta get back up. 100%. I mean, that's the real thing about it. And if you get back up, you learn from it, you'll be successful. There are a lot of people, a lot of black folks, have the entrepreneurial spirit. So they get out here.
That's what some drugs is, bro. To survive.
I sold Medicaid.
Right.
I ain't never sold drugs.
I did. And the principles of that, the marketing and all of that, a lot of the people I knew that were in a place of survival are geniuses. But, you know, it was the only thing they knew. You know what I mean? If you get born into a different narrative, you do different things. A lot of these people I know that did a lot of time, if they were born into a scenario where they were supported and they didn't have to survive all the time, and they had parents, and they, you know, weren't taken like they got held as babies, they would be different people. And they would do a lot of damage in a way bigger way on a positive level in business. Yeah. But they don't have that opportunity. Putting a bunch of people together that are in survival mode means that's how we make a fight. We put everybody together that's all worried about how to survive. And that's when rules go out the window. Yeah. You know, a lot of people, that's what I don't like about dealing with people that are in that position of thirsty or, you know, desperation, because at some point you say, "Man, I gotta do what I gotta do to eat." And sometimes it fucks with your moral compass to survive. And then it turns into a disrespectful situation. So putting all these people in one place in survival mode is a recipe for fighting each other and not fighting your aggressor. So I just think people need to understand you might need some space. Yeah. You need to clear your head. You need to focus, understand that everyone's not going to be so polite, because you don't know what everyone's going through. Right. And just do what you got to do to get out of that scenario. For me, it was just like, I'm just not enjoying this shit no more. Everybody's dying, going to jail, and this shit is normal, and this ain't my normal. Yeah. I want to be on the beach. Right. I want to chill out and relax. I'm not trying to be fighting all day. I broke every one of my knuckles protecting what I love. Go out the window. Yeah. You know, a lot of people, that's what I don't like about dealing with people that are in that position of thirsty or, you know, desperation, because at some point you say, "Man, I got to do what I got to do to eat." And sometimes it fucks with your moral compass to survive. And then it turns into a disrespectful situation. So putting all these people in one place in survival mode is a recipe for fighting each other and not fighting your aggressor. So I just think people need to understand you might need some space. Yeah. You need to clear your head. You need to focus, understand that everyone's not going to be so polite, because you don't know what everyone's going through. Right. And just do what you got to do to get out of that scenario. For me, it was just like, I'm just not enjoying this shit no more. Everybody's dying, going to jail, and this shit is normal, and this ain't my normal. Yeah. I want to be on the beach. Right. I want to chill out and relax. I'm not trying to be fighting all day. I broke every one of my knuckles protecting what I love.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.